Well, it's Friday, and this is our Friday update here at the United Church of Christ, Southbury. I do want to just wish all of our mothers a happy Mother's Day, and this Sunday we're going to be celebrating Mother's Day here at the church in the best way that a church can, which is our missions board has put together a diaper bag collection and giveaway that we're going to do on Sunday. So all the diaper bags that you've been collecting and filling up and bringing back to church, we're going to set them all up on the altar and pray a blessing over them so that whoever's hands they land in, they will be blessed by this gift and be able to bless their children with it. Thank you all for everybody who participated in that, because that's doing love right there. That's one of our pillars of our ministry plan that we're trying to live out. And instead of just celebrating Mother's Day, you all are really truly celebrating it with an act of service. So thank you. And next week we're getting ready for our confirmation Sunday. So you mark your calendars. The more people we have at that, the more fun and exciting it is to welcome this new group of confirmands into our church and set them on course for their spiritual journey. This week, I have been studying the Bible myself, as we all should, and I was looking at James again. Usually when I write my sermons, I will do a series based on what I was reading before. So I read James a while ago, and now we're learning about it. And then I'll start, like now I'm looking at Paul. I think it would be cool to do a series on Paul and look through one of his letters to see what he thought about Jesus, because the picture of Jesus we get from James is one perspective of Jesus. And I've been thinking about this, in the Bible, we get all of these. You have Jesus, this single character, this single person, but the story of Jesus is being told by all these different people who encountered him. And I think that there's something really powerful about that, because you can agree with maybe you like James and you don't like Paul. maybe you like Mary and you don't like Peter, or vice versa. That there's characters in the story, maybe you're a doubter like Thomas, and you like that. You're a skeptic, you ask questions. Or maybe you're not all in with this and you're like Judas. You're just, I'm not for this guy, Jesus. You see, in all of the stories, in all the Gospels, there's a cast of characters that we can identify with. And the whole story is telling us Jesus comes into the world, and look at all these different takes, look at all these different perspectives on who he is. Later, the church tried to give us one perspective, but the Gospels still exist, and they were there before the church even existed. So what that tells me is that there's something to the kind of presentation of the Gospels that we get. You get 4 Gospels from 4 different authors. That you have the letters of Paul, that you have Peter, Jude, John, James. You get all these different takes, and these different takes give us one perspective of Jesus. They might give us some answers, but then they give us even some more questions about Jesus. And so you might read one character, and then you read another, and then you can say, oh, I like that perspective a little bit, or that perspective makes it clear, or I don't like that perspective, but it informs this perspective. So we read the text so we get a full picture of Jesus. We read all of the different perspectives of Jesus. And when we do that, we're able to take all of those different kind of puzzle pieces, put them together, and we get to see a Jesus that is not just one person's interpretation, but many people's interpretation. And just by doing that, if you could do that with the Bible, with the characters that already exist, then you can add yours. You can read the story yourself and say, this is the Jesus that I see, and this is the Jesus I believe in. You can do that. Nobody can tell you not to do that. what's nice about that is you can develop your own take on Jesus and follow him the way you want. That sounds scary to the church, but I trust you. I think you can do it. But there's a rule, which is if you're going to do that, you have to respect someone else's approach in doing that. They're going to read the Bible and they're going to take away a picture of Jesus that makes sense for them. And that may not line up with yours, but if that bothers you, you could just look to the Bible and go, oh, yeah, James didn't line up with Paul. Peter didn't line up with Paul either. Maybe that there's some of that, the variety of thought around Jesus, it's right there in the Bible and it exists today. Maybe we can embrace it. Maybe the church can be a place where we all read the Bible, where we all get a take on Jesus, and we come to church and we share our interpretation so that we get a bigger, more full picture of Jesus, all of the many facets. Isn't it fascinating to think that you and I can stare at one person and see something totally different? But I think it says something about who we are, what we're looking for. And that's what the Bible is written for. The first thing Jesus said to the disciples was, "What are you looking for?" So when you open up the Bible this week, ask that question. Say, what am I looking for in here? And for me, I'm looking for a Savior. I'm looking for a teacher and a guide. And in my study, that's what I found. And that's why the Bible is valuable to me, and that's why I teach it and live by it. So I want to invite you into that same practice. What are you looking for this week? I hope that helps. God bless, and I'll see you at church.